I'd like to introduce my friend and the Chief Technology Evangelist for Checkpoint, Ashwin Ram. Could you please come up and join us at the front here?
So thank you, Darren, Jan, and Phil for the privilege. And I wanted to just congratulate the entire CLI team for the Cyber Leadership Imperative. I look forward to reading it, well, my signed copy. A career in cyber was not something I planned for. It was an evolution from IT. As this will date me. I started my career in IT, in help desk, dial-up support, back when ISDN was still a thing. How I got from help desk to here is a story for another day. But tonight, I'd like to share a small part of that, which is where Cyber Leadership Institute comes in. So I work for a cybersecurity vendor, not Mimecast. And about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I started to get really frustrated with my role. I found it impossible to communicate with cyber executives. It was as if I was talking a different language. And after much reflection, I decided to carry out a SWOT analysis on myself. And what I realized was that it wasn't them, it was me. I was the problem. See, I was speaking tech, they were speaking business. So I swallowed my pride, and I realized that I needed to better myself if I was going to break this barrier. A Google search led me to Phil, to CLI. I then reached out to Phil, and I remember our conversation vividly. I explained my motivation. I needed to simply communicate better with cyber executives. I needed to be impactful. Phil smiled, nodded, and then did his sales pitch and said, "You should sign up to the Cyber Leadership Program." He promised me that through this program, I would learn what it took to be a successful CISO. And that this in turn would help me communicate more effectively with executives. Through the Cyber Leadership Program and the Cyber Strategy and Transformation Program, I have shattered the barrier that once prevented me from effectively communicating with cyber executives. Let me share a quick story. It was about 3 years ago. My team in India reached out to me. They wanted me to have a conversation with a new CISO of an existing customer. This CISO was in the role for 3 weeks and reportedly didn't like speaking to vendors and had very little time for sales teams. Somehow my team managed to schedule about 30 minutes of his time. I was introduced as a CISO advisor, and after a few pleasantries, we started our conversation and quickly shifted towards his cyber strategy. The first question I asked was, how was his first 100-day plan going? He didn't have one. Followed up with, have you identified the key stakeholders in your organization? Do you know who are the key stakeholders that have high influence and high interest so that you can build meaningful relationships with them? How do you plan to demonstrate the success of the cyber investment to your key stakeholders? Have you identified any quick wins that will help you build credibility in the business? In that 30-minute conversation, where that 30-minute meeting lasted just over an hour and a bit. And the conversation evolved from a client vendor to industry peers. And it was at that moment that I realized the value of the 8 weeks that I had spent with the Cyber Leadership Program, fine-tuning my skills. Phil once said to me, where's Phil? He once said to me, you remember this, be the obvious choice. The Cyber Leadership Institute is the key factor in me being the obvious choice in my line of work. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing about your journey.